Brodes Media.
Happy Father's Day, everybody. Here's the Phillies getting destroyed. What do you know? We're going to break down what happened in Baltimore. Before we do, though, hello, welcome on in. If you are new to the channel, make sure you join the family here by smashing the subscribe button and hit the thumbs up button as well. I greatly appreciate all of your support. You can take Sports Talk with Brodes on the road with you. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, search it in your search bar. Make sure you follow over there. If you leave a 5-star rating and a review, it will go so far with the algorithm. So thank you so much for that. And lastly, we have Coffee with Brodes twice a week here, live streamed. If you join the memberships for $4.99 a month, you get access to those live streams and also to our Discord channel, which is essentially a 24/7 chat room. We have a lot of fun over there. All the information is down below in the description. Thank you all so much and enjoy the show. How did you think a Father's Day Philadelphia sporting event was going to go? I don't remember the last time Mother's Day was positive, Father's Day was positive, any frickin' holiday on a Sunday when the Phils or the Sixers or any fucking team plays, it's always a disaster. Look, I just watched Zach Wheeler give up 4 home runs. I watched him give up 8 earned runs. That doesn't happen. That's not a thing. All right, so I have to blame it on Father's Day. Okay, it's my first Father's Day. Hey, Brodes, here you go. Happy fucking Father's Day. Here's one of the worst performances you've seen from a star ace ever. Gross. It doesn't help that the first home run should have never happened because, let's see here. The strike 3 call that was missed, the entire ball fit in to the left quadrant of the top left strike zone. The entire ball. Not a little bit of the corner was nipped. The whole damn thing. So Rob needed to make a statement. And don't even get me started on the whole Garrett Stubbs, first base, use a challenge. Dude, I didn't think Rob could even hit that level. That was so electric. Dude, I had goosebumps watching Rob. That's unreal. Unreal. And the fact that the blue was barking back, what a loser. I mean, you fucking suck at your job. You fucking blow. You don't have the audacity. You shouldn't have the audacity to get into the face of Rob and start spitting back. Because you suck at your job. Suck! Take it like a man. Let Rob get everything off his chest. And then if you want to give one of the tosses at the end, by all means. But you don't deserve the chance to get back into the face of Rob and fight back. No. That's not how that works. But what do I know? I'm speaking about an individual who can't even do his job at a competent level. So he's got no brain cells. Idiot. Ball's 5 feet off the plate. Bryson Stott gets rung up. The fuck are you looking at? Is it why they lost game 3? No. Clearly, Zach Wheeler was catching too much of the plate. He left some pitches over the heart of the plate. 2-run blast. It's bad. Lack of execution. But it doesn't help when you're confused in the batter's box, not knowing what you can protect, what you have to swing at, what you don't have to swing at. You have no idea. Now you got to start protecting with pitches that are 7 feet outside. Because if you don't swing, you're going to get rung up by the idiot. Every ump should be in jail. I've said it from the beginning. If you are that confident in your skill set as a blue, Because if you ask them, they'd all say they do a damn good job. Fine. Let me be the judge. And if you show incompetence, which apparently you don't, in your eyes, jail. Should sit next to Al Horford, the biggest fraud in NBA history. The things I would do to watch Al Horford go to jail, especially after the Celtics blow a 3-0 series lead and he thinks he has a title, but it gets stolen right from his grasp. I root for that every day of my life. It's not going to happen, but that would bring me so much joy. Now let's get to reality here of what has happened over the last few games, especially when they've been on the road. It hasn't been as crisp as it has been at CBP, so I can't wait to hit the refresh button with the San Diego Padres, the Arizona Diamondbacks of all team, coming to South Philadelphia because I do expect to see a different club. This road trip has been tough. The only thing that makes me angry, though, is I can't use it as an excuse when the New York Mets, I'm throwing up in my mouth. The New York Mets go 5-1 after London. Dude, I mean, I know they didn't play the same teams. It's not the same exact travel schedule, but the New York Mets go 5-1. So how much do I want to apply to our dialogue here that they went from London to Boston to Baltimore? And I told you, the Boston Red Sox play in a division that's crazy. They might be a 500-ish team on paper, and I know they're not the Yankees, and I know their fan base talks down upon them because they despise their ownership, and their bar is be the Yankees or be better than the Yankees, be 20 games over 500 now. So if they're not, their fan base is going to scream at the mountaintops and pretty much apply pressure, claiming this isn't good enough. But they're not bad. And, well, Baltimore, they're gross. And you got a taste of that. So it's not as if it's exactly what the Mets got with their schedule. But my point is, 3-5 in those 8 games over those 3 series. It's not great, but it's not as egregious as some are making it out to be either. I want more. I demand more. It's just not as bad as maybe some of the talking points are. The Mets were able to go home in Queens and play the Marlins. They dropped the first game when they got back. So after their travel to London, they got back. They lost 4-2 to the Marlins. And then they smoked the Marlins. Then they beat the Marlins 3-2. They beat the Padres 2-1. They beat the Padres 5-1. They beat the Padres 11-6. And now they are about to hit the road and face the Texas Rangers, the Chicago Cubs, before the Yankees meet them in Queens for a Subway Series. So maybe something to monitor as the noise surrounding the Mets making some buzz. Maybe that changes when they leave their home ballpark and have to start playing some of these other teams away from their comfortable home field. So we'll see. Reality is, this team right now, it was always about, can you survive without your big dogs? And for a while there, when Trey Turner was out and Mundo Sosa stepped in, then you lost Brandon Marsh, and then you lost JT Realmuto, and you're paying the price. You are paying the price for missing a lot of those bodies. When we discussed how great this team was great because JT's batting 2 and not Nick Castellanos, who can't get a hit all series long. And I can't defend this. When he's hitting home runs and he's hitting doubles, I can defend it. I can't defend 0 hits out of your 2-hole and an entire series against a really sharp opponent. I need you to step up. So this team, when I project who they are, it's not an offer out of the 2-hole. It's Trey or it's JT. It's not an excuse, but it's reality. Your 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hitters, I'm sorry. It's not supposed to be. And Mundo Sosa, Pache, Whit Merrifield, Rojas, Stubbs. That's not what it is. And if you have to play a lot of baseball like that, especially against reasonable opponents, you may struggle. So what I can't do is make it seem as if when we describe the way the current team is playing, that's who the team is. Because we're missing serious pieces. Marsh just got back. Now we're going to get Trey Turner here, and he's going to be activated, thank the Lord, but it might take him a bit of time to get going again. Bohm is starting to deliver. The way this series started off, it was a punch in the mouth from the Phillies, no? Kyle Schwarber with the leadoff dinger to get the series popping on a Friday night. But that first game was bonkers. The fact that they won it, I thought it could absolutely have them grab momentum and win a series on the road for once. Seriously. Think about what happened in that game. Kyle with the leadoff bomb. In the game, Jeff Hoffman gives us one of the most electric moments, like it's a damn postseason game, and he's all fired up, screaming at the top of his lungs, getting out of an inning. Matt Strahm gave up a home run? I haven't seen that since 1922. What? There goes the lead? I'm sick. But after the delay, which was nuts in its own right because Marchand, first off, had a home run of all people, but he also had the plate at the play where we thought we won the game, but then they go to the replay booth and they recognize that the Orioles got their slide in and escaped the tag, and the fingers hit home plate first before the tag was applied, so then you don't actually win the game. Rojas out at home. I mean, there was so much happening. The hour-plus delay when it's the 11th inning, but Alec Bohm delivers. And then in game 2 Saturday, here you go. Alec Bohm delivers. And Mundo Sosa delivers. You're up 2-0. And then everything slipped away from there. Honestly, I didn't think Taijuan Walker had a bad game. I didn't. He went 5 2/3 and allowed 3 earned runs. It wasn't bad. It wasn't elite by any means, but it wasn't bad. He was 1 out away from having a quality start. Okay? The score was 3-2 for majority of the game. You're in a ball game against a good team. That's what it is. It's two competitive teams playing ball. It's 3-2. Taijuan gave your offense a chance to win the baseball game against a team that is at the top of the American League. I can't get angry about that. Every time he gives up a run, though, people want to rip his head off and decapitate him. They go way too far. It was a fine start. It wasn't a disaster. It wasn't garbage. It was fine. And in London, he had his best performance of the season. So that's the back-to-back start out of Taijuan. I'll take that all day. What happened is Ruiz, 8th inning, 2-run jack. And then from there, you lose 6-2. But you were right in it. And then game 3 was just not competitive. So, I need more from Nick, obviously. I need more from Bryson Stott. At times, he goes through some at-bats where I'm like, come on, man. We got to elevate. Sometimes I feel Stott might not get all of the criticism that is warranted. Maybe because we like him. Maybe because he's got an awesome glove. Maybe it's because he puts together some really good at-bats. When he does, they're really great. But he's hitting 234. Don't we all agree that we need more than 234 out of Stott? But yeah, Nick is by far a bigger problem with these offers currently. I made it very clear. When he's doing well, I give him that appreciation. when he goes 2 for 4 with the home run and a double in a game, but then in the 9th inning, maybe he has an at-bat where he strikes out. Well, he had a double and a home run in the game. I'm sorry. On that particular night, I am not going to rip his asshole into a new piece here, all right? But an offer for a weekend against a really strong team in Baltimore, dude! That's disgusting. So have at it. I'm just stunned that Rob Thomson has emotions. That was one of the craziest things. Sorry, I wanted to play the audio. I guess it played for me. All right, I want to play Tom McCarthy, even though it's hard without seeing the visual. It's still loud with the fans and the rise and the intensity. I think you can hear it over these 50 seconds or so of pure Rob Thomson pride. All right, pride to stick up for his men. You got to be very calculated when you make these type of moves as a steady Eddie type of manager. The one that is very steady hand. When you go out on a limb and feel it's attack mode, it's very methodical. And Rob, whether he's a little aggravated with just the way that the blue behind the plate was all day long, whether it was just that specific sequence or, and what I think it is it's a collection of how they've been playing on the road, knowing that they are going home, knowing that this fan base who traveled extremely well, London was great, Boston was great, and, in Baltimore, it was a really cool playoff environment. But what I'm sensing is Rob is trying to inspire the fellas. Coming home, he knows that the narrative is that they can't win a series on the road right now. And for some reason, even though he feels it's not even close to hitting panic button mode, he knows what the pulse of this fan base is like. And what this can do is set off a fire. So when the team does take the ballpark against San Diego, starting off this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, said that they are going to play with some piss and vinegar because, well, a very calculated, methodical move by Rob to show this level of fire. So here's the audio and the call from the NBC Sports Philadelphia broadcast.
We're not sure what they're... Oh, yeah, he's going to be out of this game.
Yeah.
Look at Garrett Stubbs. He's going to leave. This is not only because of what's going on here, but it's also because of the strike zone today.
Well, this is where the umpire needs to have a little more discretion. I know Rob's pissed.
This is
I get
not...
it. But he's going to get more upset with Westerberg yelling back at him. And, it's funny, when the manager goes out to argue, the crew chief goes in and breaks it up. Why is he letting this go on?
We have never seen Rob Thomson this fired up.
And now the price, he bumped me, and he's going to get suspended. What a joke.
I love it, man. I love it. I get the goosebumps now rewatching it. Seriously, Rob Thomson in the face yapping away. You know when UFC fighters do their square up and they're talking their smack and they're both nodding their heads and they're squaring up, getting ready for their pre-fight little, there's a word for it, like the promotion. They're doing whatever it is, the stance. I felt Rob was giving the stance with the ump. I cannot believe that the ump actually had the balls to snap back as if you're taking pride in your work. You take pride in that. You shouldn't get paid. You should have to pay us for watching your garbage. You should honestly Venmo me. Venmo me cash now for wasting my entire Sunday putting up with your shit. That's how pathetic you are. And you're going to take pride in what you put out there? That's a joke. You're a joke. You suck. You suck. All of Major League Baseball has a problem with their umps, and it is showtime to get those robots in place. My God. All right. Let's take calls. Let's do this.
Hey, Brodes, how's it going? All right, I'm going to start this call off by saying I know we're fine. We're going to bounce back. We always do. We're going to get through this. It's no one's fault in particular. Everyone has bad days, yada, yada, yada. But you know what? I got some freaking frustrations to vent. First of all, come on, Wheeler. I know the umpire kind of freaking shafted you today, but we got to do better than that. 4 home runs is not going to look good on anybody. Top of that, just have to ask, Rob, you're a great guy. You're a great coach. Why are you putting Castellanos in the 2-hole? Why are you giving him more at-bats? He is struggling as mightily as he has been. I know you want a right-handed bat up there, but why were you putting somebody there that's flirting with the Mendoza line so freaking much? And speaking of the rest of the bats, we leave them behind in London? Because they've been asleep ever since we went there. I mean, maybe you can attribute this whole 2-series slide, maybe 3, depending on how you want to look at it. Maybe you can attribute this whole slide to the idea that the London trip just got people kind of off their game, so to speak. But to sit here and just watch those last 2 games be so uncompetitive on our end, when game 1 was so freaking amazing of this series, is really freaking frustrating. And I really need a series win off the Padres because I don't want to stew on this any longer than I have to and say things I don't mean, you know? Talk to you later.
I do know what you mean, and I appreciate the call. I think they're all fair points. So Scott Lauber of the Philadelphia Inquirer actually looked up over the last few years the week after the London series by team. So in 2019, the Yankees went 3-3 against the Mets in Tampa Bay. In 2019, the Red Sox went 5-1 against Detroit and against Toronto. In 2023, the Cardinals went 3-3. In 2023, the Cubs went 1-5. And this year, the Phillies 2-4 and the Mets 5-1. So just something to monitor, all right? Phillies go 2-4. It's kind of all over the place. So it doesn't. I don't think that tells you anything. 3-3, 3-3, 1-5, 2-4, 5-1, 5-1. I don't know if I really got anything there. Plus, you know, when you actually look at the teams that they were playing, the Marlins compared to, you know, the Astros, the Yankees, the Mets, and keep in mind this is the Astros of last season compared to this year. You know what I'm saying? So that all factors in. I didn't learn anything from that, but it's an interesting exercise to do. Now, bringing up the right-handed stick who would bat 2. Fair point to bring up. Maybe you go with someone else considering Nick Castellanos is actually giving you 0. But looking at the lineup, you have to keep Bohm 4. Because you're not going to put Nick clean up. If you're taking him at a 2, why put him at 4? That wouldn't make much sense. So who could you bat to? Edmundo Sosa? I guess. Pache? No. Whit Merrifield? No. Who do you have? And they're not going to move Kyle. They're not going to move Harper. So if you wanted to get Nick out of the 2-hole, would you feel comfortable putting Bohm there and then putting Nick cleanup? Would that make you feel any better? Or the answer is what I mentioned, Edmundo Sosa. And I guess I could live with Edmundo Sosa batting second as well, even though it's not gorgeous all the time. He just went 1 for 5. So he's not gorgeous all the time. But if we're comparing it to the alternative, which is Nick Castellanos, well then, what are you going to do? But I like the fact that you brought up Zach. I'm with you, man. Like, Zach's due for... He's never done this, right? Like, he's due for bad games here and there and all that stuff, but come on, bro. 4? It's not 1. It's not 2. 4? Come on, Zach. You're too good to let this happen. You're too strong of a pitcher to let even a strong lineup in Baltimore do that. Not that. I saw a stat that this is the first time that many bombs been popped off a pitcher since Kyle Gibson. Yo, bro, you're 95,000 times better than Kyle Gibson. So if Kyle Gibson is equivalent, and when Kyle Gibson was in his downfall here, it was gross. You're pitching like you were Kyle Gibson's downfall moments? Come on, Zach. I don't want any excuses. Stubbs, JT, stop. The difference in Zach Wheeler pitching a gem or giving up 8 earned runs and 4 home runs is not JT. It's not JT. It's not JT. Let me make that very clear. All right, let's take another call.
Brodes line king again here. I tell you, man, I love you every single episode. I cannot stand your beta male suck up to Castellanos. Who cares? He is a dink dunk double, and every home run barely goes over the fence except one recently. The guy is hot garbage. You need to trade him, do something with him when he's hot, because he is 90% garbage. He's just like Sosa now. Sosa and Castellanos, they can't swing at something 3 or 4 feet out any more than they are now. It's disgusting. Just stop with the fucking excuses for Castellanos. He is fucking garbage. Please. Pisses me off. Other than that, I love you. Everything else you say, I agree.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I guess I hit a nerve with you with Nick. There's no such thing as dinky dunk doubles. There's dinky little singles. If you're getting doubles and you're getting 3 of them in 4 games, they're not dinky dunk doubles. I don't know what a dinky dunk double is. I know what a dinky little single is. And his home runs are not just barely over the wall. There might be some, but that's anyone. You can find that with Bryce. You can find that with Kyle. You can find that with anybody. When you hit, like you did last year, 30 home runs, yeah, some of them will be just over. Some of them won't be. I can't defend Nick Castellanos today, though. All right, I can't defend him today. Maybe part of the reason why, though, you're starting to get mad at Nick and starting to get mad at Edmundo Sosa for their inability to keep the bats on the shoulder and check swings when there's pitches that are way off the plate. I'm not trying to put the blame all over the place here because Nick has a track record of doing this. But I'm sure it's a lot more difficult, especially for someone who has the tendency to do it anyway, to get a feel of the strike zone when it's as inconsistent as it is. Look, this guy swings at pitches that aren't close to begin with. So now factor in, you have to guess what the idiot behind the plate is thinking. What's going on in his mind? Well, last at-bat, that was a strike. 2 at-bats ago, it wasn't. The guy before me, it was. The 3 guys before him, it wasn't. What am I? Oh, Nick, again. Edmundo, what are we doing? Maybe there's a little something of that going on. Potentially. I'm just saying. Don't get mad at me. I'm just asking questions. But I can't imagine it makes it any easier. That's me making excuses. What are you going to do?
Well, didn't really see that one coming. But look, I'm trying to take the positive out of this one. I don't know if there's really a positive except the fact that Topper really got out there and tried to defend his guys, and as a result, got ejected. But you know, we're still sitting pretty high on the record for the NL. So right now we're going through a funk right now. They called it. This game ebbs and flows, and right now we're not getting contributions from guys. You know, Castellanos needs to step up. Stott needs to step it up. It was good to see Harper get into some hitting. But you know, we're in a funk right now. That's just the way it is. So good thing that Atlanta lost today. But, you know, we're getting guys back. Turner's coming back. So hopefully, things start to change a little bit. But right now, you know, it is what it is. We're in a funk and we just got to get ourselves out of it and push forward. But, great series to watch. Got to do better. Happy Father's Day to everyone out there. Bye.
I appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely. Look, I think that that's fair as well. I'm not now all of a sudden thinking that this team stinks. I hate that we have to do that after every series loss. But you're right. They're in a bit of a little skid on the road. But they're little skid. This last game was egregious. And in Boston, it got ugly in that last frame. So there's some moments that you would like to have back. But it's not as if when you watch the entire 3 games, the Phillies are so out of this. The Phillies are not even close. The Phillies are getting manhandled every time they touch the field. field and they have zero confidence. In game 2, it's 3-2 all the way through until the 8th inning, right? And that's with your number 5 starter on the mound. You're going toe-to-toe with Baltimore. You're right there. It's not as if that, oh my God, there's so much that you have to reconsider. Oh, there's so many serious damaging stuff that's happening on a day-to-day basis that we have to wonder who they really are. No, they're just losing some baseball games on the road away from their ballpark. They'll figure it out. They'll win a road series and then start to feel good about themselves again and get this thing going. So that's how I look at it. It's not as if they are getting swept every time they go on the road or anything like that. It's not like what we saw in San Francisco and what we saw in Colorado happens every single time they fly out of town. So they go to Detroit after Arizona. Then they're back home. I'm just trying to look at some of their upcoming away games. They got the Cubs. So Detroit, the Cubs, and then an Atlanta series in Atlanta. There's a home series in between there, though. But I'm strictly just looking at away stuff. So my point is, I think that there are some winnable series that they should have to make a statement with as they get a chance to reset at home first. But it's not the end of the world type stuff. It's just, well, you're not going to keep up a 700 win percentage forever. It'll even itself out and balance itself out, but you got to try and stop the bleeding as quick as possible, and I expect this team to do so. And I also expected this team to hit a bit of a funk, especially when you're missing as many bodies as you are. It's not easy. As you see with the Atlanta Braves, you lose Strider, you lose Acuna. They lost somebody else as well over that time. Well, it's normal for that to take a toll on your production. Your 6, 7, 8, 9 hitter, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hitter, 2 of them should really be in your lineup consistently, let alone 5 of them. Of course it's not going to look the same. So it's all right. We'll be okay. All right, everybody. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me. I'll catch you all on the next one.